up and welcome to another bike review, the first of 2025 at Appleyard Motorcycles in Keighley. And I'm just outside their new showroom complex here, and I'm absolutely stoked to be telling you that I'm going to be taking out this here Royal Enfield Bear 650. Now then, in the meantime, if you're in this neck of the woods, or even if you're not, get yourselves up or down to Appleyard Motorcycles, a long-established family business here and part of the wider GB franchise. Lots and lots of brand new bikes, lots of demonstrators, and a good amount of used stock as well. Get yourself down here to Appleyard Motorcycles. Right, let's climb aboard the all-new Royal Enfield Bear 650, see what she's all about. Right, here she is then, the all-new Royal Enfield Bear 650. They're scrambler-sized motorcycle using that their well-established air and oil-cooled 650 parallel twin that originally broke cover in the Royal Enfield's Interceptor and Continental GT. Subsequently then in the Super Meteor, now in this here Interceptor Bear 650. Lovely styling on that bike now, and now a 2-into-1 exhaust, and it sounds absolutely awesome. Chunky tyres, spoked wheels, mostly blacked out engine, and I think they've done a cracking job with the design there. British design team, of course, and here in the black, silver and grey colour scheme, which is the mid price point. The most pricey one being that one up there with the green frame. We might have a look at that later, but this one cut in a very, very smart figure indeed. Yeah, Royal Enfield Interceptor Bear 650. This is a demonstrator at Appleyard's, and it has 0, and I mean a genuine 0 miles on it. So mine be the first ass to be plonked upon this here bike. So let's crack on. Oh, righty-ho then. Now, of course, I had the Interceptor for quite a long time. I had the Super Meteor for quite a long time, but this is more closely aligned to the Interceptor, I would suggest. So, let's see what my first observations are as compared with the Interceptor. Number one, hey, wider seat. Absolutely, for sure, a wider seat. Get these old heated gloves on. Hey, Jason, alright, buddy?
Yeah, not bad on you.
Yeah, cool. I've left some more cards with Kieran.
Yeah, I'll keep putting them with us.
Yeah, beautiful. This is smart, isn't it?
Oh, it looks lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah. Smile, you're on camera.
It's absolutely lovely, that colour.
It sounds awesome as well.
Yeah, it's we've got a few looking at it, so.
Ah, yeah. I can feel my wallet twitching again. Take care, buddy. Jason there, the service manager. Top fella. Absolutely top fella. Aye, so let's fire up this beauty, and of course, unlike the Interceptor, this has the old TFT screen here, rather the new TFT screen, which broke cover on the new Himalayan, I believe. Ooh, listen to that there basso profundo exhaust. Just what you expect to hear from a scrambler. Right then, yeah. Right, first off, look at that, 0 miles. Hey, 0 miles. First off, let's see how we do in traffic, eh? course, I have to confess to having opined in the past about whether or not the Royal Enfield 650 parallel twin is sort of reaching the limits of its application for Royal Enfield. Rumours abound of a 750/850 variant of this engine, somewhere in the pipeline. Don't know how true that is, but we shall see after this here ride whether I actually think that's the case, instead of just spouting off about it. And of course, this engine to be found in the Interceptor, the Continental GT, the Super Meteor 650, and the Shotgun. So, pretty established as a bomb-proof unit thus far. So the fueling is absolutely spot on. I still think it's fair to say this is a retro-inspired motorcycle, a modern classic, so there will no doubt be some purists amongst you out there that would call into question the single TFT display there, and might prefer some form of twin analogue setup like the Interceptor. But I think that TFT though it is, and offset though it is, which I know offends a lot of people's OCD, I still think it looks great. And would it look better with a big pair of analogue clocks? Possibly, but it's far from a showstopper. And of course, still waiting for the old classic 650 to arrive on these shows. And the minute it does, and the minute they get a demo for Apple Yards, I'll take it out for you. So yeah, fueling absolutely spot on. Of course, I'm very familiar with this engine. 47 brake horsepower. A2 license compliant, of course. Excuse my sniffles, it is about 3 degrees out here. Hey, things I do for you folk. Oh, way up. The clutch biting point is quite a fair way out, rather. So, taking me a bit of getting used to, but it'll be fine in due course. And there's a fair old wind blowing out here, so I hope that isn't distracting the audio too much, because it's got a lovely sound to it, this engine. With this particular exhaust setup, even though it is a Euro compliant setup, still sounds the dog's dangly bits. Right, let's get out of the urban environs of Keighley and see what this bike's all about. I don't want to take too many liberties with it. 0 miles, it's obviously still being run in, and even though it's the demonstrator, somebody at some point will inherit this bike and rightly expect it not to have been abused. So we'll do what we can to abide by those noble principles, which is, at some point, this will become somebody's bike. But a very familiar feel. What I would say is I can tell already that the engine in this bike feels more urgent and more willing than it does in the Super Meteor and the Shotgun. The thing with the Super Meteor and the Shotgun, and of course I had the Super Meteor for quite some time, is that at 241-ish kilograms is just a bit too heavy to my mind for this engine in the state of tune that it was offered on those bikes, the Super Meteor and the Shotgun. But pretty much right in the sweet spot for the much lighter Interceptor and Continental GT. And I think to a certain extent this, I would imagine this is just a little bit heavier than the Interceptor. But I haven't looked the figures up yet, but I will do in due course. I'll tell you what though, this feels a lot more willing than it did on my Super Meteor, even when it was well run in. I wonder if they've tweaked. I mean, they can't do anything with the brake horsepower. If they try to increase the brake horsepower on this, it would be outside of the A2 compliant range. But of course what they can do is play around with the mapping to make it feel more responsive in the mid-range, and I wonder if that's what they've done, because if this is how this bike responds brand new with now just 3 miles on the clock, then when it's fully run in, I should imagine it will be quite impressive. Brakes, they're not going to set the world on fire, but they're perfectly adequate coming down there. Pretty much, you know, if you are an Interceptor or a Continental GT or a Shotgun or Super Meteor rider for that matter, that's what the brakes are like. No real changes there, perfectly adequate, and in fact the rear disproportionately strong at the rear. But as I always say in relation to these bikes, we need to return to the art of the front and rear braking together to get the most out of the bike. Old school stuff. And a very, very comfortable riding position, I have to say, very comfortable indeed. Firmish seat, but a firm seat usually over distance is a more comfortable seat, certainly better for you. in musculoskeletal terms. And definitely feels a good bit wider than the Interceptor. So I would say a slightly more upright riding position than the Interceptor. And my Interceptor was a 22, so it was pre these redesigned switch casings here, metal ones, which look a lot better. And overall a pretty premium look to this here bike. And we got some 50/50 tyres on here. I'm not entirely sure what make they are. They look a bit like Pirelli Scorpions, but I may be wrong, but we'll find out when we do the walk around. This TFT does have interoperability with the smartphone, so you can get navigation. There'll be a way of doing that, and I'm not going to tinker around with that because I'm a bit of a technophobe. But I tell you what, lovely and smooth. Once you get up to these sort of revs, you'd be forgiven for thinking that this parallel twin is either a triple or an inline 4. Really smooth. Of course, not everybody wants that from a parallel twin. If you're like me, you prefer a bit of rock and roll, but I suspect that all you would need to do is stick some sort of suitable aftermarket can on this, and you'd be away with the old symphonic qualities at the back end, if you'll pardon the expression. Handling excellent on these slightly sketchy, greasy, cold roads. Yeah, that back brake, very good in terms of stabilising the bike on the bend there. And we got adjustable brake levers on this, which is always good to see. Right. Oh yeah, super comfortable. I find myself tempted to look in these here windows like we do. Oh yes. Oh, I'm looking the part. A huge sense of nostalgia to be had with these bikes if you're of a certain age, and I will observe that the fit and finish for Royal Enfield, now some 8 years since the Interceptor broke cover, has really marked another chapter in the evolution of the modern Royal Enfields. This fit and finish is absolutely premium. Shower suspension, and it's soaking up these bumps and lumps with good grace. Oh my god, it's cold. I might have to turn on the old heated gilet before too long. Hey. she is then, the all-new Royal Enfield Bear 650 Scrambler type design, sporting the now well-proven, reliable air and oil-cooled 650 parallel twin from Royal Enfield. And this one in the grey, silver and black there, looking resplendent with them there gold forks and spoked wheels and them there semi-knobbly tyres. Got the old LCD headlight there, as featured on the Super Meteor. LED indicators. Yeah, smart looking thing. Let's do the numbers then. So the engine, 648cc, parallel twin, air and oil cooled, 4 valves. And fuel tank there with a capacity of 14 litres. Seater height on this bike, 830 millimetres, reasonably high for a bike of this nature. And the bike weighs in at 214 kilograms, so that's a good 20 kilos lighter than the Super Meteor and the Shotgun. So suspension wise up front, we have got Showa 43mm upside down forks in anodised gold colour there. And the front brake, we have a single disc, which is a 320mm, and that sports a Vibrate twin pot calibre, Vibrate made by Brembo. Front tyre size here, 19 inches. 19 inches. That there front wheel. Now, if we have a look at the old rear end, and rear tyre 17 inches, so a 270mm single disc, with a single pot caliper, 270mm single disc with a single piston caliper at the rear there, 17-inch wheel. These here tyres, branded Nylorex MRF. Yeah, not come across those before. LED lights all round, indicators, tail lights, headlight, etc. Now the maximum power of this bike, it is A2 compliant with a 47 brake horsepower engine and a maximum torque of 41.7 pound-feet. Top speed claimed 110 miles an hour and a tank range of 240 miles. Might be a little bit optimistic, but 200 should do it. Yeah, very, very smart looking bike. And the TFT we saw earlier got all the information you need on that there circular TFT. The standard handlebar controls, layout and adjustable brake and clutch levers, good to see. Yeah, the back we've got twin shocks, adjustable for preload only, and I do like the blacked out shroud on the exhaust and the blacked out engine casings. I think they really suit a bike like this. Yeah, cracking looking bit of kit from Royal Enfield there. Right, let's have a look at me seated upon this here bike. Right then, so I am 6'1" tall with a 32 to 33 inch inseam. Relatively wide at the waist, this here seat, 840mm seat height, and I'm just about flat-footed on this bike, but a really, really comfortable riding position. Some adjustability up and forward on the bars, as you would expect, but overall very, very comfortable indeed. Yeah, the usual standard Mickey Mouse ears type mirrors, but perfectly adequate. Good view to the rear, and just the edges of my elbows in view there. So yeah, nice mirror setup, and overall a cracking looking bike. Now to me this is a better looking bike than the Interceptor, but of course it all depends on your chosen style of bike. But I love scrambler type bikes, and the price point for this bike, under £7,000. All three variants are under £7,000 plus on the road costs. I think it's as good as it gets. We shall have to see what the new B65 BSA is like by way of comparison, but excuse me, it'll yeah, I'll have to pull its socks up to be as good as this, I would suggest. Of course, that would be a single. This is a parallel twin. But lovely engine tone to this. Even so, I'll just give her a quick fire up. Sounds the business, eh? Oh! Nice Monza fuel cap going on, in vogue, and a very stylish motorcycle indeed. Yeah, very familiar to me, the sound of that engine, obviously, but I think this here 2-in-1 setup on this bike just gives it a little bit more basso profondo than the ones with the 2-in-2 systems. Yeah, liking that. So, what do you think? The Royal Enfield Bear 650. Hey. I'm always somewhat smitten when a new bike from Royal Enfield comes along, and reflecting on my previous thoughts that perhaps the 650 parallel twin engine had sort of reached the limits of its exploitation in terms of the styles of bike to which it's put. I'm not so sure I got that right now, because I think it sits very, very well with this design of bike. And already I can feel my wallet twitching. Oh, like it. Handles a dream. It really does handle well. Yeah, beautiful looking thing. You could do some mild off-roading on this, couldn't you? Hey, you could do some mild off-roading on this. By heck, it's freezing. Love it. What do you reckon? Let me know in the old comments below what you think of this here bike. But it feels to me a good bit more powerful than the Interceptor. I hope my memory isn't fading there. It feels more powerful than the Super Meteor or the Shotgun, for sure. And if I was going to have a 650 Royal Enfield at this point, of all those that are available, it would be this one. So yeah, so there's only really the classic 650 left, isn't there? There's only the classic 650 left to try. But I think this is a better looking bike. Definitely a better looking bike, but then I do have a soft spot for scrambler type motorcycles. So yeah, love this. Oh, do I love it too much, eh? That's the question. We're going to have to see what that BSA is like, I think. Yeah, Royal Enfield Bear 650. This is the demonstrator, available for you to ride at Appleyards. And let's see if you are rather as suitably impressed as I've been with this. And no engine casings to have to polish. Oh, that's got to be an advantage. Yeah, I'm not so sure what else there is to say about this bike. As I say, the engine itself's got a proven track record even now over the last 8 years or so. Pretty bomb-proof. It's always been able to withstand boring out to 850cc. There's been a kit available to do that to this engine for some considerable time now. So it's obviously a hugely over-engineered unit. This engine has really proved its credentials for reliability and robustness. So, yeah, great bike. Get yourself to Appleyard's. Take this out. See what you think, eh? I love it. So then, to sum up the Royal Enfield Bear 650, Royal Enfield's answer to the sort of scrambler class. What do I think of it? Love it. There are elements of the bike that are very familiar, given that I owned an Interceptor for quite a while and a Super Meteor, and I have ridden the shotgun, and yet there are elements of the bike that feel entirely new and fresh. And I am a lover of the scrambler type design, very much so. So already had a soft spot for this before I got on it. Hey! But actually, it's got all the real world power that you're ever going to need, I would suggest. Comfortable bike, comfortable riding position, excellent handling. I mean, you could certainly tour on this bike. I'm sure there are luggage options for it, or there will be in due course. Relatively new to market, this bike. But yeah, on these tight bends here, handling's absolutely fine, even on these slightly sketchy roads. And these 50/50 tyres, superb. And for under £7,000, a very attractive price point indeed in these somewhat straitened times. I'd be happy to have one of these. And I certainly think that to date this bike represents the best utilisation of the 650 parallel twin to date. Yeah, a very, very easy bike to get on with, this. So then, that be it for today. What do you reckon to this here bike? Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to ride this very bike, it's the Appleyard's demonstrator. Get yourself to Appleyard Motorcycles in Keighley, and they'll be happy to let you take out this fantastic latest offering from Royal Enfield. Certainly gets a thumbs up from me. And in that regard, thank you again to Kieran and Jason and Mikey and the general manager Kevin at Appleyard Motorcycles for looking after me, letting me have this bike for the day, basically. Not that I've kept it for a day, because it's absolutely bloody freezing. Hey! Just wind on a bit here. Plenty of shove from this engine, you know, plenty of shove. More than enough. Right, so yeah, that's it for today. If you did like this video, please can you support me by subscribing to the channel. Don't cost you a penny, not now, not ever, but it really makes things worthwhile for me and keeps the channel going. So yeah, if you please click a like, please above all if you would subscribe, feel free to share, and until the next time, and in the meantime, from me and the Royal Enfield Bear 650, ride safe, be kind and all civvy.